Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Hooty Hoo KSU Football Podcast. I'm your host, Griffin. Glad that you could join us. First off, apologies. It's been a few weeks. Just not a lot's been going on. So, really haven't had a great deal to kind of go over with y'all. Just because we're kind of in that spot of the season to where not a lot's going on. Going into the summer, spring transfer window kind of came and went without much action. So now as we're under 90 days until the start of the season, it was time to hop on and just give a overall perspective of what's going on in the world of college football, but also with KSU. So let's talk KSU for just a second. A couple things this week that had come out, which I thought were interesting. One is that season tickets are now available. I'd gone on there the other day and very reasonably priced. If you're going to do the whole season, it was around $1,000 for all home games, which the ones that I chose also included food and drink, and they were in the sponsor. It's a plumber is a sponsor. It's in one of the corner end zone seats. So it was $1,000. Now that was row 2, seat 1 and 2. So those are exceptional seats for the whole season for $1,000, including food and drink. So that was a good deal. That, and also if that doesn't appeal to you for the whole season, you could kind of mix and match up to 4 games. So you can do that, go that route as well. That will be obviously less. So definitely support the team for those season ticket holders out there or those considering it. Hop on it now since really good seats are still available at a reasonable price. That's just an easy way to support the team and kind of what they're building here. Additionally, Coach Mack is starting up his camp right now for all the local high school players to come out and receive some college football instruction from college football coaches. This is a great way to get people interested in the program. It's a great way to meet the local high school head coaches, especially kind of have them out as well to develop those relationships. Again, the thing is that there's so many different ways to kind of take advantage of the spot that Kennesaw State is located in. As we've said many a times, it's a talent-rich region, and all you have to do is make some inroads with some of these coaches and some of these players, and it only takes a little bit of talent to really kind of get off the ground. It is Conference USA, so that's to your advantage. I would think that this is exactly what you'd want to see your head coach doing to kind of get the interest of Kennesaw State out there so that everybody's available to come out, meet the coaches. What is it? I keep thinking networking. Couldn't think of the word. Networking, just to kind of get your name out there and hopefully then kind of flip the program. That's the plan kind of going forward. Another big thing, one is we have a pro football player that has graduated from KSU. So the first one to go to the NFL draft. So that's exciting. Secondly is the NCAA 2026 cover has been released. And sure enough, on the cover, top left, basically. I mean, the little things, right? That's awesome. I think the biggest thing, though, from this week, honestly, is it was announced that 6 of Kennesaw State's games will be nationally televised. That's huge. I mean, it's huge. That is exactly what you need. You need it nationwide. You need a lot of eyeballs on it, and it seems like that's what's going to happen. So I kind of look through the channels that will be broadcasting it. It's the games you would think of. It's the bigger games. So Wake Forest, Indiana Liberty, Jacksonville State. The other 2 are escaping me right now. So that's huge to get your name out there. It really is. I'm very excited about that. I think that's exactly what I wanted to see, was to kind of put this program on the map, win those games or look good in those games, and it'd be the biggest difference. Again, I've said this for a while now since the schedule was released. I don't love the Indiana game, even though quarterback going home, that's kind of a good story. But I don't love the Indiana game. I do like the Wake Forest game. I really do. I think that one thing that Kennesaw State has going for it is there's not a lot of film on this offense that they're going to be running and the players. So it's tough to scout for. Also, week one is always so wonky anyways. So it'll be interesting to see if they can get one of those two big nationally televised games. But like I said, six games this season are nationally televised. That's huge. It's huge for a small program that's coming up. So hopefully they make the most out of it. Again, my prediction this year, 6-6. I've been saying that all along. 7-6 is very possible. 8-6 is with one of the upsets of the two bigger teams, which is Wake Forest in Indiana. So I think 6-6 is a very middle of the road, very reachable or attaining goal that Kennesaw State can aim for this year, which puts you in a bowl game, gives you extra practice time, another nationally televised game on ESPN. Yeah, I mean, it can't go wrong, but need to start winning. Need to win. Now, I say that just in general terms, but also the larger college football landscape right now is changing. I'm going to shift from Kennesaw State to nationally here for just a second. So, a couple things have been going on. One is that they've decided to reseed the playoff. So now it's the conference champs are in there, but they're going to rank them according to their in-season ranking, end of the regular season ranking. So the Arizona States from last year, the Boise States from last year, they would not get a first week bye. The top 4 teams, top 6 teams? Oh no, I haven't looked into that. We'll get a bye. I'm doing the math in my head right now. So 10, 5. Yeah, I think that's right. So the top ranked teams will still get the bye. It will not just be reserved for conference champions. So that's a big change. And remember, with this conversation, the SEC and the Big Ten are the ones that are going to benefit from this. There's also a proposal that when they go to 16, if they're trying to figure it out, both the Big Ten and the SEC are heavily influential with this decision. But right now they're looking at a 5+11 model, 5 conference champions, 11 other teams. The other teams that are out there are the 16. So basically the other top 11 teams, not including the 5 conference champions, I guess is the easiest way to put it out there, depending on where they're ranking, depending on if they have a bye or not. Sankey at SEC Media Days, this was floated by CBS Sports News. And I really didn't see much follow-up on this, so I don't know if it's just clickbait or not. I want to say that up front, this is not 100% verified, even though I did see it on CBS, whatever that means. But it was pointed out that the SEC is interested in leaving the NCAA before the 28-29 football season. So what does that mean? If this is true, and that keyword if is there, if this is true, you would see the SEC and the Big Ten probably leave the NCAA and create their own conference, their own super conference. You would see upwards of 32 teams in each. And that's who they would play. They would do interleague matchups, but also conference matchups that would then determine a playoff at the end for the national champion. Now, how does this all happen? Who knows? I mean, there's so many different moving pieces in college football right now. It's so hard to even know what's going to happen. But I would say that you would have the ACC, the Big 12, dissolve with their biggest teams. You could see almost like a flip-flop to where you remove teams like a Wake Forest, like a Vanderbilt, a Rutgers, and you put those teams in a different conference, let's say the ACC or the Big 12, and the upper echelon teams in those conferences or the biggest money draws in those conferences would then go over to the SEC or Big 10. In the ACC, you look at Florida State, Clemson, Miami, North Carolina, maybe Duke, Virginia. Those teams would go, maybe Virginia Tech, and then other teams would come in. Or they would collapse that conference, and the Big 12 and the ACC would kind of push together as their own. Again, how does this impact Kennesaw State? As I said previously in a podcast, it'll be fascinating to see kind of where everybody is at this time. And if Kennesaw State has made a name for themselves, if, again, the region is key here. What eyeballs does a conference want? What talent, what star power is there? You could see that if there is an opening, if Georgia Tech were to leave the ACC, Florida State, a Clemson, all of a sudden you don't have a representative in the southeastern marketplace. So if that's the case, you would need that. So that's where teams like Kennesaw State, FIU, those kind of teams would start to kind of show up as kind of moving up a level. Conference USA probably goes away or goes further down as far as perception. So these are all speculative statements. No one really knows what's going to happen. I do know for sure that the Big Ten television contract is coming up in 2030. It was released a few weeks ago that every team in the Big Ten received $90 million in revenue from football only this past season. $90 million. Teams in the ACC, for example, you're looking at 35 to 40. Conference USA, where Kennesaw State's at, it's even less, et cetera, et cetera. Now, this is just the Big Ten. The SEC is not far behind, 80, 85, something like that. So what's happening is everybody is getting priced out of the sport other than those teams in the SEC and Big Ten. That's what's taking place right now. And so you're starting to see it have a domino effect on other sports as well. You watch a baseball tournament, the NCAA baseball tournament, it's littered with SEC teams. You watch the NCAA basketball tournament, SEC and Big Ten teams are all over that tournament, more so than ever. The SEC was never really a basketball powerhouse. Kentucky, Arkansas for a time, but that was about it. Now you had, 12 teams or something get in? It was wild. The same things with baseball. As you start kind of going down to lower level sports as well, look at softball, all SEC dominant, et cetera, et cetera. So what's happening is the money that the football programs are bringing in is so vast that the schools are able to take that money and to matriculate it down to the other sports, therefore raising the floor of those sports. I think that you'll continue to see this. If you are a team in the Big 12, the Pac, whatever it is, the ACC, you cannot pay your coaches for non-revenue sports, which is pretty much everything but basketball and football. You cannot pay them millions and millions of dollars like the Big Ten and the SEC teams can. That's going to have an impact on the quality of football, or any sport for that matter. If you take the best coaches and you concentrate them in one conference, whatever they've left behind, there is a gap in the talent of the coaching. There's a gap in the talent of the coaching. Who do the players want to play for? The best of the best, or some mediocre coach who is just not tested yet? You're going to go to the better coach, the better program. Look at these baseball stadiums in the SEC. They're almost like professional. That's what's going to start happening to college athletics. And it is already happening. You can already start seeing it take place. The NIL deals, they haven't gotten a hold of that yet. Judge is supposed to rule by the end of the month of what the cap is, or if there will be a cap. That might, give us a year or so with a cap being in place, but it won't last. What will happen is players will sue, most likely, saying that you're limiting the amount of money that my brand can make. That will take place. What do I mean? Lagway from the University of Florida, sophomore, good player. Let's say that the cap is $20 million and he gets paid $2 million for being quarterback of the University of Florida. These are all hypotheticals. Also, for NIL or for a partnership, he wants to go and make an advertisement for a local Nissan dealer. He cannot make a great deal of money based on who he is at a market price, because the NIL agreement that is coming in the end of the month would then limit the outside ability to bring in income to these players. They would have been paid once through the university, and that's all they can make. So you'll have a lawsuit saying, well, wait a second, you're limiting my ability to make money, to increase my value. Football is a short-term career opportunity. Most don't make it to 30. Therefore, I should be allowed to make as much money as possible, regardless of what level I'm on. I don't disagree with that. They absolutely should, but there has to be some kind of guardrails to this sport. And that's the problem. That's the problem, is where we are right now is we are in a place where there are no guardrails. It is wide open. And until this, even if they do the 20 million cap, how do you enforce additional funds being siphoned to players to come and play for them? How do you do it? You don't. You need a body that would be able to police this, but policing 133 different universities, it would almost be impossible. It would be unreal. There is a proposal to have an enforcement body to come on to try to rein this in a little bit. Nothing's been definitive yet. But basically, they would take the power from the NCAA, which really doesn't have any power left anymore, especially with football. They would police these universities to make sure that they're spending the money the correct way, that they're not doing anything underhanded. But in to give real consequences to things, whether it's not allow postseason play, suspension of coaches for a year, suspension of players, something that'll definitely get the attention of those rule breakers. But again, just like the old system, when everything was in a brown bag underneath the table, enforcing that is going to be very difficult. So we'll see. I think that this opens up in time kind of a collective bargaining agreement between players and universities. I think that that's where it will have to go. And I think if you're going to do a cap, I think it has to be across the board, but it has to be enforceable. Almost what you have with basically it's the NFL light. That's what we're going towards. And I think it's funny if you look at the timing of everything, with the supposed statement of Sankey saying they want to leave the NCAA at the end of the decade, with the renewal of TV contracts. It just all seems to be adding up to a break off from the sport that we grew up with, and that it will be, did I say that, Ant? And it will be just, look at that. There he is. Get off me. Get attacked by an ant on camera. And it will be just the NFL, but a lighter version. And I think that, I'm sorry, I was looking for an ant. It looks like that's where we're going. It looks like the sport that we grew up with is gone. It's already gone. It's not the same anymore. I remember growing up, bowl games were something you looked forward to because they were competitive. You got to see these two teams you've heard about all year long or watch them play other teams, and you were so excited about them playing each other. That wasn't just a national title game. That was just whatever game. There was hundreds of games out there. Outback Bowl, all those different games. You'd see these matchups of teams with different styles that are both competitive, that are both good, and you're like, I wonder who's going to win this game. You really didn't know going into it. Now, most of the players don't want to play, and especially if they're going pro. Look what happened with Tennessee's quarterback. He basically held them hostage as they were going into the college football playoffs, saying that if you don't play me X, I'm not going to play in the first round of the playoffs. That's not the first time that's going to happen. That's going to keep happening. They've now seen this way forward to make more income for themselves, and that's what they're going to do. They're going to be advised to do that. So, I don't know. I'm disappointed. I think what's going to happen if they don't get a hold of this, and even if they do, I don't think that the fans will be as passionate about it as they once were. I think if your team is winning and playing for a national title or something like that, of course you're going to be excited. Of course you're going to be passionate. I'm just saying that the neutral fan out there who just enjoys the sport, I think they're going to find something else. They're just going to be kind of tired of all the money and just the underhandedness of the sport. And it's a shame. It right now, currently, it is the second most popular sport in the country, NFL, then college football. So, they need to do something quick that will have the fans kind of latch onto it. The problem is money, as with anything, it's just the greed and there's money. I don't mean greed for players. I mean, you put your body on the line and it destroys their future physically anyways. I mean, how many NFL players in their 30s have difficulty walking or have memory issues or the horrible stories about the concussions and what those do to individuals as they age. So I don't blame the players. I blame the greed of really the sport as a whole, these conferences. Look at the coaches' salaries. The coaches' salaries, right? I mean, out of control. Everybody's getting $80 million for so many years, getting $10 million a year, right? But no one's talking about controlling that or bringing that back down a little bit. And there's also no loyalty there because those coaches up and leave all the time, So I don't know. I think it's a strange place to be with college football. I think that we've got a long way to go to figure this out. Hopefully they do figure it out. At this point, I'm not completely against breaking off from the NCAA, just having two conferences with all the best known teams, the biggest names in that sport, just playing each other and have a national championship from there. Letting everybody else get a piece of the pie in a different perspective, like a Division I and Division II, like it used to be. And they can play that off as well. So I think that, even though as I'm saying that out loud, in my brain, I already hear, well, let's say that Oregon State is in the Pac-10 or 12 and they play whatever the combination of leftover teams is, and Oregon State wins the whole thing, the Division II national championship. Isn't anybody going to be clamoring for that team to play the champion of the Division I? Well, sure they will. And who knows what that does. But there'll be arguments against doing that also. So we'll see. Like I said, it's all in limbo right now. So my best piece of advice is to enjoy the season. Enjoy the season while we've got it. That opening weekend, there's great games already ready to go, and it's really going to get here fast. It's really going to start moving now that we're into June, basically. It's going to start picking up the pace for sure. I think that I'm excited about the Wake Forest game. I really, really am. I'm thinking about going up there with my son and checking it out and seeing, kind of what that's all about. I'm interested to see what Kennesaw State looks like against a Division I team. Sorry, I shouldn't say Division I. An ACC team versus a Conference USA team. I think that they have a real chance to surprise them. I think that Coach Mack is doing everything he possibly can. I think that the circumstances are against him a little bit, just giving Conference USA a brand new program. This is where the warts are going to start showing with being a brand new program in the FBS. You just don't have the same infrastructure, money, anything as these larger programs. So do what you can with where you find yourself with the idea of advancement in the future, right? That's just good life advice anyways, is, make a name for yourself, be on TV, let people know, get better recruits, get better players. As soon as you get better players, better results, more exposure, build. That's how you do it. We keep saying the same thing on this program, is that the potential is there, but the wins are important. Of course. That's a given. That's a silly thing to say, I know, but it is true, especially with this program. Some teams will be able to recover from having lackluster seasons, or embarrassing seasons for that matter. But teams like Kennesaw State, just making the transition to FBS, you got to start making a name for yourself. You've got to start tapping into the money that's out there through TV, through bowl games, through conferences, through all those different things. And if you can do that, and you make inroads with recruiting locally, then you will be that much more successful, that much faster, which then gives you the opportunity to parlay those results into advancement, into a larger conference, bigger brand, more television. That's how you build a program. Same expansion. We're doing the whole thing. We're doing the whole thing. Take Town Center Mall, knock it down, put a football stadium there. You've already got parking built in. Just a thought. Anyways, all right, that's it for me. Like I said, I wanted to come on and just give you a quick 30 minutes just to say hello. I'm still alive. I'm still doing well. Nothing really to report on this side of the world, just one day at a time. One day at a time. That is the secret to it all. All right, y'all take care. Please like and subscribe. Check out the Etsy store for any shirts, any merchandise. It's being updated all the time. And any comments or anything like that would be greatly appreciated. I will lose the background I used last time that had Kennesaw spelled incorrectly. That is on me. But after that video was already in post-production is when I noticed it. So my apologies for that. That was oversight on my part. Like I said in the beginning, that this whole podcast business, if you will, is still getting off the ground. Still a lot of mistakes to be made, but we're trying. We are trying every day. All right, y'all take care. We'll see you next week. Bye.